Here's the thing. I don't have a problem with people saying that Kamala Harris needs to earn their vote, saying that these are my policy priorities and I need to hear about where she stands on these things. What I do have a problem with is when you are informed about those things and then you still want to stand 10 toes down. Oh, your if you just don't like to say that. I absolutely do have an issue with the notion that she doesn't have policies, that she hasn't discussed policies. And I have an issue with people who have perpetuated that narrative and how people have platformed people for the sole purpose of causing confusion and chaos when they have the ability to platform people that can give people the information. Are we just going to wallow in the, well, people are saying that she ain't got no policies, well, people don't know where she stands, or are we going to do something about it? On my show, when you say you want to hear something, guess what? I got the receipts. I don't just let people who don't have the information leave my ass alone and we all just acting confused like we don't know the half a damn. But others choose to do otherwise. So there's a very clear reason why more people don't know about what VP is doing. It's not because she hasn't said it enough. No, she didn't call you personally and say, hey girl, did you hear about my insulin proposal? It's because there's more profit in platforming and perpetuating negativity and confusion than there is in educating people. And be clear, it's not just people who are anti-Kamala that don't want to platform certain people. It's people who are pro-Kamala too that don't want to pass the mic. Catch that tea.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about Leonard McKelvey, a.k.a. Charlamagne the Devil, who is getting a whole lot of backlash from the left. The Kamala Harris stands more specifically because he said that, hey, you know, Kamala Harris should probably do some interviews. She should probably answer some questions and articulate her policy positions, especially when you're talking about dealing with black people and trying to earn their vote, okay? Because a lot of these people out here just vote for Kamala because she's black, right? This is essentially what Democrats are trying to push, is that they're trying to say, hey, you must vote for Kamala because she's black. However, a lot of people are finding that claim to be questionable, okay? Because Kamala Harris hasn't really done any interviews with so-called black media. In fact, she snubbed the black journalist event, the same event that Trump showed up to and decided to take questions, right? Hostile questions from the black propagandists, while Kamala decided that, no, I'm not going to do that, okay? Instead, she would rather do interviews with Indian TikTokers instead of the so-called black media or the mainstream liberal media or anybody with some legitimacy.
Hi, it's good to see you.
So good to see you. Hi guys, I am here with Vice President Kamala Harris at the Democratic National Convention. I am so honored to be here.
Thank you. I'm glad
Thank
to be
you
with
so
you.
much for speaking with me.
Of course.
And a little fun fact, my last name is Gopalan.
I know.
Which is your mom's last name.
Yes, it is.
And, you know, I grew up going to India in the summers, and I know you did that as well when you were young.
We used to go in the fall, though.
In the fall, when it's not so hot.
Yeah.
And I wanted to kind of hear from you what your fondest memories were from then.
Well, some of my fondest memories are with my grandfather.
You know, it's funny because Kamala in Indian is lotus.
Yes.
And Kamala in America is POTUS. So lotus for POTUS.
There are a lot of black people who are saying, no. We're not doing that, right? Not this time around. We've been bamboozled, hoodwinked, led astray, run amok before, okay, with this vote for me because you're black nonsense. We're not falling for that anymore, okay? And Charlamagne Tha God is rightfully saying, okay, hey, I'm going to vote for Kamala because she's black. But I don't think that is wrong for anybody else to ask questions about that, right? Now, this comes in response to the Mickey Mouse rapper Plies. And the reason why I call him a Mickey Mouse rapper is because his voice sounds like Mickey Mouse, okay? I'm pretty sure he does not talk like that for real. But this guy, he came out and he basically said, no. Black folks, you should not ask anything from Kamala Harris because you don't demand the same things out of Trump, right? This was the argument that, no, you don't need to know what she believes or anything like that. You just need to vote for her because she is a black woman.
Just real quick. But to everybody who, especially the ones who look like me, and the men who look like me, who quick to, if Kamala want my vote, she need to explain herself to me what she gonna do for the black people. Listen, stop asking a black woman to explain themselves to you or explain themselves to y'all. If y'all ain't willing to ask a white man, this mother explain himself. Y'all cool with the white man not explaining his mother stuff to you. Oh, the mother black, she need to explain herself to me what she gonna do for the black community. She want my vote, she need to explain herself. You ain't motherfucking the white man explain himself. You too motherfucking scared to ask him. Somebody need to explain something to y'all. Well, she been in the office already 3.5 years. Why she ain't do all the things she said she was gonna do? Cause she ain't the president. That's why.
Plies is absolutely positively wrong. If people are asking questions, that's great. I don't even know why Plies is making this a black woman versus black man thing. This isn't about black men and black women. It's about elected officials and potential voters. The whole point of campaign season is for candidates to go out there and explain to the American people why they should be the one in charge of this country. Votes are earned, not given, and they are earned through you going out there and explaining yourself. Vice President Kamala Harris has to go out there and explain her agenda and why she's the person for the job. Former President Donald Trump has to go out there and explain his agenda and why he should be the person to get his job again, or get the job again. I don't understand Plies or any black person for that matter telling black people to just settle. Just accept whatever the candidate is giving you. Don't ask any questions.
Yeah, but
just
they've been
vote.
doing it.
They don't have to explain anything to us.
They've been doing it for a long time. Even with Biden, when we ask questions to Biden, well, it's the best of two evils. You know what I mean? You got to pick one. But no, if you have questions, people should be able to ask.
Listen,
that's the point of a politician, right? They're supposed to represent us, represent our district, represent our country. Shouldn't we ask?
And by the way, they should be explaining without us asking. Mm-hmm. That's the whole point of them doing these press conferences and these meetings. Yeah. The same way these politicians have meetings for their donors and they have rallies and press conferences explaining themselves and their agendas to certain groups, they should have to explain themselves to black people the same way. Plies is 1,000,000,000% wrong.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that, okay? Now, in my opinion, I don't agree with Charlamagne Tha God too much, okay? I think he's extremely Trump deranged and not the most politically informed individual, even though everybody is interested in his opinion in regards to politics, and I'm not entirely sure why. Okay, maybe the expectations for black males on the left is so low that you have to recruit people like Charlamagne Tha God. But I think that he's correct here, okay? He is correct that, yeah, you should be asking questions about what is she going to do and her policies, and I'm not even sure why this is a controversial thing, but apparently it is, okay? Because Charlamagne has gotten a whole lot of backlash for one of his better takes.
We are 72 days away from November 5th, right? Charlamagne Tha God, Jermaine Dupri. This is what you're doing. This is what I want you to do. Let's chit chat. I promise you, I will never understand the addiction to being intentionally ignorant. Please, let's talk about what we know. On July 21st, Joe Biden dropped out of the race for president, meaning that Kamala Harris joined the presidential race with only 113 days until Election Day. Some of y'all don't understand how the three branches of government work, so please let me explain to you why her entering the race with only 113 days to win an election is really unheard of. During Donald Trump's 2016 run for presidency, he launched his campaign 513 days before Election Day. 2008, Obama launched his campaign 633 days before Election Day. The year 2000, George W. Bush launched his campaign 514 days before the election, and Al Gore launched his campaign 501 days before the election. In all of that, inside of those 113 days, the Harris-Walz campaign has broken a myriad of records. They are doing the work. They are laying out their plan, rallying behind this amazing campaign that is truly running against not just Donald Trump, but Project 2025. Certain black men have decided to use their platforms to create divisiveness. As Plies pointed out, there is a huge difference between wanting to know your candidate's strategy for the first 100 days in office, what they are going to do for you, and holding them to a standard that you don't hold politicians who are not of color. You have Charlamagne Tha God. Now, did Plies lace his point with a bunch of MFers? Absolutely. Did he lay it out eloquently? Also, absolutely. So for Charlamagne Tha God's takeaway from Plies to be that Plies is telling black people to just take any candidate that's given to them and to settle is truly, well, willfully ignorant.
How you do whatever you want to do with your vote. But I'm not voting for no mother rich white man to be able to do whatever the f I want to do. I'm just not doing it. I don't hate them women that much. And I damn sure don't hate a black woman that much. So you can vote for a mother AKA, or you can vote for the mother KKK. You can vote for whatever K you want to mother vote for. That's your motherfucking business. She don't ever talk about her. Yes, she must. You just don't want a mother here. That lady told you she trying to get $25,000 trying to buy a home. Trying to build 3 more million homes. Trying to lower the drug prices for everybody, not just the elderly. trying to get tax cut to the middle motherfucker. That like trying to no tax on tips or whatever the hell it is. That lady telling you what she trying to motherfucker. You just don't want a motherfucker.
Wow. I cannot believe that in 2024, we're at the point in politics, it's so dumbed down that people are saying, no. Kamala Harris, a presidential candidate, does not need to explain herself, right? She does not need to do interviews or press conferences or articulate herself and what she's going to do for the country. She doesn't need to do that because she is a black woman, right? That is the argument being made, okay? Charlamagne Tha God is right here. However, I do think that Charlamagne does deserve some criticism, but just not the criticism that he is getting, okay? Because the wokes are claiming that Charlamagne intentionally misrepresented what Plies said, and that's the problem, okay? He's getting a whole lot of backlash for the wrong reasons. This person says, Charlamagne has more ego than brains. He's treated MVP Kamala like trash, and I'm sick of him. He intentionally and maliciously misinterpreted what Plies said. Charlamagne hates black women. Now, I want you guys to understand how out of touch these people are, how delusional they are. Charlamagne is the same person that quite literally is supporting Kamala Harris because she's black, right? That is the only reason he's really supporting her. That and, you know, hey, he's a leftist, okay? So he is supporting her for those reasons. So to say that Charlamagne hates Kamala is silly. The actual criticism of Charlamagne Tha God should be, well, if you feel like Kamala Harris hasn't done a good job of explaining herself and her policies and that people need to hear her, she must earn people's votes, then why are you voting for her, right? That really should be the main question, okay? But again, that is going over people's heads. Zelenia Maxwell says, Trump hasn't explained anything in 9 years, though, right? Charlamagne and the Breakfast Club is harming the black community, and that is the hill I'm willing to die on. People misconstrue us when we criticize Charlamagne for his takes. He has the freedom to say and believe what he wants. That isn't the problem. The problem is that he is seen as this huge black male political voice, and he clearly isn't well versed enough for that title. Now, again, I don't disagree with this, but again, this criticism is coming for the wrong reasons, right? This is a rare, correct take from Charlamagne. All his other takes should have that same type of criticism. But again, this is the take that people on the left, the black bourgeoisie, this is what they're upset with. Charlamagne is a token. He likes being a token. He plays his position so well because he hates women, especially accomplished black women. Charlamagne is consistently wrong, always, every topic. This went over his head. The range isn't there. Okay, so what these people are trying to say is that, well, Charlamagne didn't understand what Plies was saying. Plies was actually saying that, hey, you guys can't ask questions of Kamala, right? You can't demand that she answer questions if you're not demanding that from Trump. Except Trump is answering questions, right? Trump is doing press conferences. He's doing interviews. He's doing podcasts. He's doing everything in regards to trying to be as transparent as possible when it comes to his agenda and what he wants to do. That's not something that you can say about Kamala Harris, right? Nobody can sit here with a straight face and tell me that Kamala Harris is more transparent about her agenda and her policies than Trump, especially considering how on Kamala Harris's website, last time I checked, she doesn't have any policies, okay? Trump's on his website, he has a whole white paper filled with policies and the things that he wants to do. There's a huge difference, right? So to say that, well, nobody's demanding that Trump answer questions. Well, Trump has been answering questions for the past 8 to 9 years. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? And again, stories like this is why I'm just not a big democracy guy. Because there are a significant portion of people in this country that are just proving time and time and time again, they can't handle democracy, right? You just can't do it. Because you cannot sit here and say that Trump is not being transparent, that he hasn't done any interviews or that he isn't answering questions, right? Trump walked into the Lion's Den, the black journalist event, and answered questions, right? That's what he did. Something that Kamala Harris wasn't willing to do. Like, you cannot be this Trump deranged. You cannot be this delusional. It doesn't matter how much I hate somebody. I am not going to deny reality because of hate. That is what's happening with these people. Anybody that denies that Trump is not being transparent or that Trump is not answering questions or that people don't demand answers from Trump, you are delusional. You're not in touch with reality, okay? Your hate has impaired your ability to think, okay? Trump derangement is the most common form of cognitive impairment in this country. So it seems, because that's what happened. All of these people that are Trump deranged, you're cognitively impaired. You're just not in touch with reality. That's just what it is. Again, even let's say if I was a Kamala stan, even if I was a Kamala stan like Charlamagne, right? Charlamagne is a Kamala stan. But even he can see, okay, well, Kamala's not really answering questions. She's not being as transparent as she should be. And he's Trump deranged as well too, but he's not that Trump deranged. He's not that biased. He can't see reality. And the fact that there are legitimate conversations about a presidential candidate avoiding interviews, not doing press conferences, not answering questions, that in and of itself is proof and evidence that, hey, Kamala is not being transparent enough. It's not about Trump, okay? It's about Kamala. Kamala has to be held to the same standard that everybody else is being held to.
Do an interview. I mean, I realize that there are countervailing strategies often in terms of when you sit a candidate down with the news media. Sometimes it can be counterproductive ahead of a convention, for example. But on the other hand, if you let it go on too long, it can get out of your control.
I think you're right. And that's also why her campaign has said that it's going to happen before the end of next month. And I think that that's very important. Be mindful. The DNC just ended last week. She just became the official nominee on Friday. On top of that, we also saw that, with the roll call, which was just a few days prior, the virtual roll call, that vote came through. This is something where we've had Kamala Harris atop the ticket officially for just a few days. So this is a very historic campaign, a very truncated campaign, but the pressure for her was to actually get out and talk to the voters. She's been doing that. She had to build that capacity. She also just chose her vice president as a running mate.
Hang on.
The press was not her top priority.
We're talking about the vice president of the United States. She's been preparing to be president for allegedly for 3.5 years.
She's also been doing a lot of interviews as vice president.
So therefore she should have been able to do an interview on the first day. Why isn't she not?
It's not a question of ability. It is one of campaign measuring.
No, it's one. She doesn't want to answer.
How much she needs to
she
be
doesn't
out
want to
and
answer for the
people.
fact that she was against fracking. She was against
expanded
private
them out
insurance.
In ways
she was
that
against
Joe Biden
gasoline
could not.
cars.
And
she doesn't want to talk
where they
about
are
it.
and having those conversations every day. She's talking about it to the people who actually cast votes in November.
Let me push pause because, Mark, I will say that this has been something that people behind the scenes will acknowledge is something that is not her top strength. These unscripted moments where she's under pressure from interviewers. If it was her strongest move, they would have played it already.
They would have played it, no question. Look, I hate to play the middle here, but they're both right. I mean, Misha and Brad, you're both right in the sense that right now they don't have to do the interview. There isn't enough public pressure for them to do it. But we are seeing these interviews start to pop up more, and then the question arises.
I think the public pressure is building up for the interview.
I know, but I think it is. But remember, this is the first week back to school for a lot of schools, certainly in the Northeast. Kids are just back in the South right now, but people are finishing their vacation. She is able to enjoy the cover of summer right now, but that's
stalled off 1/3 of this campaign, and members of the news media have let her. She's not answering questions about. We know her position. She's against fracking. She's against private health insurance. She's against gasoline cars. That's what she told us when she ran for president last time. She doesn't want to talk about those positions. That's why she's stalling it.
And she should do an interview. I'm just politically saying, Brad, and you have to acknowledge that it hasn't been that bad to this point.
She's going to show up. It is coming.
She'll show up at NPR or somewhere like that, but she's not going to take tough questions.
She's going to show up on a network, and she's going to have a sit-down conversation. She has already said, her campaign has already said that that's going to happen. If you're waiting for the date, everybody else is waiting for the date.
It's a month.
She's actually on the ground. She's doing bus tours across the state of Georgia. She is talking to the voters.
She's the last one in the room.
Let's hear it. This decision.
We're gonna have to take a break. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I don't think that doing softball interviews is going to put this to rest. I understand the point that you're making, but I think the decision that I'm looking for from the Harris team is who are they choosing to sit down with, and is that going to be something where you come away feeling like she took the hard questions, or if this snowball continues?
Well, really, what it comes down to is whether or not you have people, the actual voters, are they going to hold her accountable? Is the mainstream liberal media going to hold her accountable? Or is this what we're doing, right? This is the precedent that we're setting here, is that politicians, presidential candidates, they don't need to answer questions. Because this is not about Trump, right? Take Trump out of it. It's about the future of politics in this country, man. For as much as people want to talk about democracy and the importance of democracy, one thing that makes democracy work, right, is transparency. When you're setting a precedent that, no, my opponent is just so evil that I don't need to answer questions. I don't need to be held to any standard. That is a precedent that Democrats will hold on to, and they will abuse every election. Every election, they will run the basement strategy. They won't actually answer any questions or do anything because we're showing them, no, you don't have to, right? We don't have to hold you to any standard. And that is a dangerous thing. These people are really, really, really playing a dangerous game with this stuff, man. And it is a damn shame that this is even a conversation. We are having a real conversation about whether or not Kamala Harris, a sitting vice president, somebody that's running for president, should do an interview. Whether or not people should demand that she answer questions, right? Again, it blows my mind. And the scary part about this is that if Kamala Harris wins, this will become par for the course in politics, right? This is what you'll get. It'll be an era of zero transparency from politicians. And that's the last thing that we need right now. But this is what these people are signing up for. They think, oh, it'll change when Trump is over. When Trump is over, when Trump is done, things will go back to normal. That's not true. They will still be trying to lock up political opponents. They will still be censoring the other side. They will still not answer questions. They will still refuse to be transparent. They will still gaslight and lie. This is what they'll continue to engage in because the American people are saying, well, we really don't care. We really don't give a damn. If we hate the other side enough, we don't care about what Democrats do. It's scary stuff, man. And this is why Kamala Harris must be defeated, okay? She must be punished for using this strategy. The American people have to stand up and say, no, we feel like you cannot disrespect us like this. You have to earn our vote. It doesn't matter who you're running against. You have to earn our vote. You have to answer questions. And if you don't, then we just won't vote for you. That's what has to happen. And that's why Kamala Harris has to be defeated. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.